Last week, Aedan Bryant and Levi Gibson set an FMC world record single of 16 moves. For those of you who don't know, FMC, or the Fewest Moves Challenge, is a challenge to see who can solve a Rubiks Cube in the fewest moves possible. Aedan and Levi found a 16-move solution, which ties the existing world record. Today, I'll be sitting down with them and asking them various questions, such as how it felt getting a world record, their strategies to getting the world record, and I'll be asking them, is this world record just expected from the start, or was it a matter of luck? Let's find out. Hey guys, let's get started with the first question, I guess. So, for those of you who don't know who you guys are, introduce yourself.
Alright, I'm Aedan Bryant. I have the FMC world record single. I'm also known for face turning off the Aedan, and I used to be known for clock.
Hi, I'm Levi. I am well known for FMC, or as of recently, I just broke the FMC world record with Aedan. Same competition, same solve, same solution. I am known for being a delegate for the New England region.
You guys, obviously, you got a world record. That's exciting. So how does it feel getting a world record? Like, it's been, I think, a week or maybe 6 days since you got it. How does it feel? Was it expected? What are you guys feeling? New people talking to you, stuff like that?
Personally, it still doesn't really even feel real. It certainly wasn't expected. I thought I'd basically missed all my chances at getting a record after I stopped practicing clock and other people started getting really good. I had gotten into FMC. FMC has been my favorite event recently, so I'd been practicing a lot. But I had thought I could maybe if I got lucky, get NAR average, but that was pushing it a little bit. But world record single especially, world record at all, was far out of reach for me, and I wasn't really expecting that at all. So it was a really big shock, and it still doesn't even feel real for me.
I think our journey to world record is a little bit different from everyone else's. I had completely, no thought of ever having a world record, ever. I'd never actually had, I don't believe I had any solves at home that were, or any averages at all that were under the world record, ever. So that was a little bit of a shock for us to get world record. Yeah, it was very different from the journey that most people take to get world record.
Right, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's talk about the record itself just in the moment. So, just to explain to the viewers a little bit, FMC, the way it works, it's a fewest moves challenge, so you get the solving sheet, or where you write down the solves, and then you get the scramble in front of you, and you have 1 hour to complete it. So it's more of a standardized test than anything. When you guys first got the scramble, what was your first reaction?
My first reaction was, I wasn't expecting much. I had gotten a 26 on the first solve, so that isn't a great start for me at all. My current goal is 22 flat mean, so starting off with a 26, it wasn't great, and I was a little bit upset about it. And I saw the scramble. It was a fairly good scramble in terms of EOs, which is the step you start with. There were quite a few 4-move EOs, which is pretty good, a couple 3-move EOs, and a fairly obscure 2-move EO, which actually led to the 16. But after, the first thing I do is I always write down the EOs, and you can't really get a super great idea of the scramble just by the EOs. If you have a lot of 4-move or less EOs, it's generally a pretty good scramble. But you can have cases where you have a lot of 4-move or less EOs, and the continuations just aren't great.
So when I first saw the scramble, I, much like Aedan, was not thinking world record right away. I thought the scramble was decent. I thought it was good. I was just writing down EOs like any normal solve, and it seemed to have a decent number of EOs that were pretty short. And then when I found the 2-move EO, that's when I really thought, oh, this is a good scramble. Maybe 23, 22 sort of level scramble, but obviously I can't tell just from the number of EOs. I also, when I found the 2-move EO, I was like also a little giddy because it wasn't a very easy EO to find because it was on NIS. So I was a little bit proud of myself and also a little bit excited because it was a good scramble.
All right, yeah. So now let's talk about so we're talking about like before the scramble, like seeing the scramble, stuff like that. But once you finally realized, like once you got the 16 moves, first of all, how quickly did it take for you to find them? And what was your reaction then, knowing you got the world record?
It took me 14 minutes because after writing it down, I looked down at the stopwatch and I saw it was past 14 minutes. So around there is when I actually had the solution. When I found the DR finish and counted out the moves and realized it was a 16, I started kind of freaking out internally. It's a quiet event, fewest moves. I couldn't make any reaction or anything, so I had to sort of quietly freak out to myself and not I guess make much of a scene, because if somebody saw me freaking out, they might know something's going on. So it's sort of like an internal freak out, and I started shaking. It was my heart started racing. It was a pretty crazy moment. I was very, very excited and shocked at the same time.
Yeah, my reaction was also very, very much panic-stricken and just very kind of. I did not do as good of a job at containing myself than Aedan did. I was like hyperventilating a lot, and I had to just like get up from my chair and just like breathe for like 30 seconds, and my hands were shaking while writing. My journey to the 16 was also like a little less clear than Aedan's in the sense that instead of finding just the 16 move solution, I ended up finding a 16 move skeleton. And so with domino reduction, you have to solve the everything except the E-slice, and then you can solve the rest of the cube with insertions in 0, 1, or 2 moves. And 1 is like kind of the most common. So I found a 16 move E-slice, and I was like, okay, this is probably going to be a 17. Maybe it's going to be a 16, and maybe it's going to be an 18. And then the first thing I tried, the first insertion I tried, it solved the whole cube. And at that point, I like actually freaked out and like I could not sit still. It's a big part of the reason I submitted my solution so early.
That's amazing. I also there's a video of Aedan submitting the FMC attempt. Is that correct? Right. That was filmed by Levi. But yeah, absolutely insane. FMC is a very luck-based event at a high level. So, how lucky truly was the scramble?
I can try and get the statistics, but a 6-move finish is extremely, extremely rare. You would expect, I don't know, like a pretty good finish would be maybe 11 moves. 10 moves if you're lucky. 12 moves maybe. So like if you get a 10-move DR, if you get quite a few 10-move DRs, you can probably expect low 20s. 6-move DR is extremely rare. Something I don't think I've ever gotten before ever. I have at home gotten a couple sub 10 move finishes, which on their own is very, very lucky. But 6-move finish is a crazy. The DR length was pretty normal. 10 moves is something you would expect, but 6-move finish is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's also the 17 from Harry Savage a very long time ago was, I believe, like a 10-move DR and a 7-move finish.
I think it was
very similar to that as well.
DR 10-move finish.
Oh, okay, I'm getting it mixed up. One statistic that I can say is that only 2.5% of scrambles have a 16 available. I think it's 2.5%.
Oh.
It's 1 in like 39 or 1 in 40, around there.
Yeah, so it's at least in the top 2.5% of scrambles, and obviously you have to make the 16 like findable, so that's even luckier.
So looks like if you are ignoring E-Slice, which would make it a little bit more rare, it's about 1 in 23,560 DRs have a 6-move finish. Now there is a couple things to keep in mind about that. First of all, I just did that, so I hope it's right. Second of all, with a domino reduction in a solve, especially with this one where you have there are move cancellations that can happen. So if you are just given a domino scramble, it might be, 13 move optimal, but if you find a domino reduction in a solve, you'll have a move before it, you might have a move after it, which can cancel and make it a little bit shorter. So it is extremely rare. If you just given a random domino scramble, 1 in 23,500, that's pretty crazy. But you also have to consider the fact that there are moves before and after.
My next question goes to Levi here. Recently, we saw a certain former WCA delegate fake an FMC world record. Levi, you're a delegate. Prove to us that you didn't cheat. Okay, no, that's not my real question.
I actually have very good proof.
That's not my real question, but my real question, I guess, to phrase it differently because I want to be boring. How is scramble integrity maintained in an event such as FMC?
I have a very good answer for this. So, I did not keep up that much with the whole Kalindu situation. For those unfamiliar, if there are any, there was a delegate who generated scrambles and then looked at the scrambles before the competition and just used that to cheat and get a world record FMC mean. That person is now banned from the WCA, and I do realize that looks a little bit sus that I'm a delegate who got a 16-move world record single. But for this competition, specifically because of Kalindu, I decided to let Margot generate and print scrambles. So I was not involved at all with the scramble generating process. Margot generated scrambles and then printed them on her own computer at Staples.
Margot was the other delegate at the competition, by the way.
Yes, that's important to note.
Who did not get a 16 on the scramble.
Yeah. Or even better, a 15. But anyway, what was I gonna say? More specifically, if a delegate has to print the scrambles, how is it ensured that I guess the delegates just not look at them, or once, because the scrambles have to be printed somehow. So how is that done? Just for those who don't know. So
I think every delegate kind of does it a little differently. So in past we've had Thaddeus Cyrus, his mom, print the scrambles. For those unfamiliar, Thaddeus is a competitor here in New England who is a board member of Cube New England and a trusted competitor. For this past competition, Margot had her mom print the scrambles because she was in town. And when I print scrambles, I usually send the PDFs to my local print shop with very specific instructions on how to print them and how to seal them in the sealed envelopes.
Aedan, this is my question for you. So, you were a world-class clock solver in clock before FMC, obviously. You had a runner-up in U.S. Nationals 2019. So, my question is that how did it feel, first of all, giving up clock, which I think is fair to say at this point, and then going to FMC and then becoming world-class there? What was that transition like?
Yeah, so with clock, I was pushing for NAR very hard at the start of 2020, right before COVID hit. And over the pandemic, I think at that point I was just out of the top 10 in the world for clock. But over the pandemic, I had sort of gotten disinterested in clock. I was trying other events. I got tendonitis in my elbow, which caused me to not be able to practice any cubing for a stretch of time over the pandemic, which was pretty demotivating in practicing. I'd gotten into FTO, which had taken a lot of my time from official events, as that was very fun. And overall, I just sort of gotten out of block. And after coming back from the pandemic, Carrie got the NAR average with like 4.62, which was well below what I was averaging at the time, and I was pretty interested in FMC. I can't remember when I got into it, but it was during when I was interested in clock. I was getting into FMC and learning DR. But when it came to New England Championships, I got a 22 mean that was actually DNF'd. I used improper notation, which was very much a skill issue on my part for not knowing the regs properly, but it was also very devastating because I had enough time to rewrite it. It was just a lapse in judgment. Anyways, that motivated me to get into FMC and start practicing a lot. I'd done like a bunch of... I actually didn't do any FMC after that for a couple months. I was focused on school and also pretty sad about it. But over winter break, when I didn't have school, I did a lot of FMC and improved my global quite a bit. And yeah, I was at that point where FMC started becoming my main event, main official event at least. Every time I had a chance to do some practice, I would do some practice. So I started bringing my FMC PR down to below 25, and competing officially, I was fairly inconsistent, but I was hoping that the more competitions I did, the more chances I got at getting a PR.
Speaking of, I guess, just getting started with FMC, I know you guys probably get this question a lot, but what are your tips for someone who hasn't done FMC before and wants to get started?
A couple very good tips are looking up tutorials on NIS and insertions to get started. Those are some basic techniques. And then joining the Facebook FMC group and also the FMC Discord.
I'll link those in the description, by the way. Levi, what are your tips?
I would just say learn domino reduction and spam solves. Like, domino reduction is so much better than block building at this point. It's just, block building is basically just obsolete. Learn techniques slowly. I would also highly recommend using floppy reduction. I know not everyone uses it. I have personally found floppy reduction to be very helpful in my solves, and I use it basically every single solve, and it works great for me.
Awesome.
Interesting. I do not use floppy reduction. I just build blocks for HDR.
Due to the nature of FMC, the number of FMC rounds, especially in the United States, is very limited. Does this frustrate you as a competitor, or does it make each FMC round more important?
Personally, it frustrates me a little bit as a competitor. Especially where I live, to even compete in FMC, it's quite a bit of a drive. There aren't many competitions up where I live anyways, and none of them have FMC. So my opportunities to compete in FMC aren't very often, and if I start off the first solve with a 26, for example, it demotivates me, feeling like I kind of wasted a trip, wasted an FMC mean, and it's pretty frustrating. There are areas of the U.S. like the Midwest. They have so many FMC means. They had, I think, a 3-round FMC competition at Ohio State University. The weekend we had our competition, and they have a lot more. And I'm a little jealous of that. But at the same time, it just motivates me to practice a little bit more at home and get more consistent, so I can take advantage of those FMC rounds when I do get them.
Yeah, for me it's not as bad because while there aren't that many FMC means organized by other people in my region, I organize so many means of FMC, and it's like absolutely enough for me. I organized 2 means of FMC at my house a few months ago, which Aedan did go to, and 1 I organized 1 in my hometown of Amherst, and then moved to Ashfield, and then organized a mean in Ashfield. So I just basically organize any means of FMC that I could ever want, and it's so much fun.
That competition in Ashfield worked out pretty well for you, didn't it?
I would say so. It was pretty decent.
Yeah, just decent. You guys are signed up for NAC, which is in less than a month, Which that's insane to say it out loud. I'm excited for NAC personally. I have some claw grounds coming up there. But more importantly, you guys are signed up. How excited are you about NAC? What are your expectations? What are your goals for yourself?
NAC, I'd like to do okay on FMC. I'm not expecting too much. I'm excited for FTO. I'm kind of excited for clock. I've learned 7 Simul recently. I've been practicing a little bit. Hopefully I can get a PR there. I'm not expecting too much in terms of placements. Cubing is very competitive now, of course, and I don't think I could podium in any event realistically, except maybe FTO, but that's unofficial. Maybe if I do very, very well, I could maybe get an FMC podium, but I'm not expecting too much in that regard. I'm just kind of hoping to have fun, break some PRs. Minneapolis.
I want to just have a lot of fun. I am just so genuinely so excited to go. It's going to be such a fun competition. It's also going to be my first competition back from my WR, since I'm currently staffing a summer camp, and that will go right up until the start of NAC. So I just want to do well in all the puzzles, maybe get an FMC podium if I can, but I doubt that'll happen. Try my best.
We'll see. I'm excited personally. You guys got WR now? WR single? What's next? What's next for you guys? What are your plans?
I guess focus on all rounding. Learn new methods for new events. Hopefully improve my PR mean. 2267 with a 16 is a little bit disappointing. It's not great. I want to get 22 flat. That's probably my main goal right now. Improve my FMC mean. Focus on FTO. Improve the resources for that event. Focus on making some algorithms. Improving my personal results with FTO. Seeing how far we can get that event. I'd like to see it become an official event one day. And overall, just sort of enjoy cubing. I think the main thing with cubing is you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you can get burnt out. And just focus on practicing stuff that I like. And I think that's the main thing.
I'm just gonna keep organizing and delegating competitions. My recent promotion to be a delegate has been just so wonderful. I've been traveling everywhere and just organizing and delegating all over New England. It's been an absolute blast. Especially since I'm taking a gap year before going to college, I will have so much time to organize and delegate competitions. I'm already planning how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 competitions right now. 1 in October and 3 in November. So keep an eye out for Western Mass and Connecticut comps around that time frame. Anyways, I'm just so excited to finish up the rest of the year.
To those who don't believe a world record is possible, like to those watching right now who may not be capable of a world record at all currently, or who might just be right on the brink, what do you tell them?
Keep going. I didn't think I could get a world record. Coming from me as already having a world record, telling somebody who doesn't have a world record to keep going. I didn't believe I could get a world record. I ended up getting a world record. The thing about FMC single is it was just so unexpected. It's definitely one of the more luck-based things. Go to as much competitions as you can, and obviously that isn't. Competitions might not be super accessible to a lot of people, but I think the main thing is go to competitions, have fun, try to improve your own results, and if you can get a world record out of that, that's fantastic. But if you don't get a world record out of that, you still have had a lot of fun at competitions, and you would have improved your own results through those. And even though you might not have gotten a world record, you would have all those memories, and you would have that improvement, and it would overall be a great thing. If you just focus on getting a world record, this is definitely the case with me in Clocknar, is I was just focusing on Clocknar, and that kind of took the fun out of some of the competitions where I was only focusing on that one thing, and I didn't get that thing, and that ended up just making me taking all the joy out of some competitions I went to, which was just something I wish I had done differently. If I had focused on just enjoying myself at those competitions, I think I would have at least gotten those memories and have had a lot of fun at those competitions rather than just, I don't know, getting disappointed at missing something.
Yeah, I would again give the same advice as Aedan. Just try to enjoy competitions and go for the competitions, not for the records, but for the experiences. I definitely echo the sentiment of just spam as many competitions as you can, as long as you have an okay mindset and aren't like holding yourself back mentally from getting any sort of record, whether it be world, state, national, whatever it is. I would also say that like getting in the mindset of going for good results can often like go against you. I had a very difficult journey with like FMC mentality. When I was averaging like 26 or 27 moves, I was very eager to get good results in competitions. And when I actually went to competitions, I kept just like DNFing over and over and over again, and just getting like 30 something move solutions that I knew I could beat, just because I was so nervous, and I was just not in the right headspace for FMC or competing at all at that point. So I would definitely say just try and not set the expectations too high for yourself, and just like really try and get in the Zen mode, where if you get a good result, great, and if you don't get a good result, then it'll be fine.
All right, that's pretty much it, I guess, for this interview. Last and final question. Any last words and anything you guys have to promote?
Last words. I'm very excited about this world record. Thank you for having me on for this interview. Um, I guess I could promote my YouTube channel, Tipster Trickster. You can also probably find it by searching up my name. I have the world record single reconstruction and the video Levi took of me submitting the solution, which I very appreciate Levi for filming that, and the people who suggested that. That's a great video. Um, I have a lot of other videos on FTO there. FTO for WCA, I recommend learning the puzzle. It's a lot of fun. FMC is also a lot of fun. Two great events that I would recommend trying out if you haven't yet. But yeah, I think that's all I need to say.
I'll promote my YouTube channel too. It's called Levi Gibson. I have my world record reconstruction on there. I also have just quite a few FMC videos on there, reconstructions of cool solves that I've had at home. I would also promote New England Championships. Come to Providence, Rhode Island. It's in August. It's going to be an absolute blast. As well as the New England Quiet Championships in Amherst, Mass. That'll be lots and lots of fun. Me and Aedan will have another FMC meet there. World record again, maybe. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I guess I'll promote my own stuff. Subscribe to Clicky Studios if you want to see more content like this, and follow the Instagram. We'll also be posting some YouTube shorts, Instagram reels of this interview, so you guys can catch those. And yeah, don't forget to watch all of our competition live streams. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like the video. Comment your favorite part. And yeah, you guys can find Aedan and Levi on their respective channels in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.